Hey, GLP-1 plus sides community. Before we jump into the podcast, please take the time to leave us a 5-star review on whatever audio platform you're listening to the podcast on. Share your story and how the podcast has helped you. This will help us get referred up in the audio platform so that we can reach more people that need our help, our support, and guidance from our doctors. Help us get loud and change things.
Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.
Hey everyone, before we dive in, I really want to share something personal with you. About, I want to say like 8 to 10 months ago, after losing 100 pounds on GLP-1s and keeping it off for a long time, I started regaining out of nowhere, and I was terrified. But I also started having hot flashes and bouts of crying and snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m. unable to go back to sleep. It turns out I was in perimenopause. So I started hormone replacement therapy, which is also called HRT, through a telehealth called Winona that specializes in this. And it changed everything. And now I'm sleeping better and my hot flashes are all but gone, thank God. And I feel like myself again. And it turns out that you can actually start perimenopause as early as 35. And well, I'm 46 and she's here. HRT has really come a long way and there's just no need to suffer anymore. So if you're like this and you're in the same boat, you can check out buywinona.com and you can use the link in our link tree to save some money.
Want the fastest working GLP-1? For half the price, Ro now offers FDA-approved weight loss injections cheaper. With results you can see faster. Lose 15% of your weight with the formula from Eli Lilly that hits not one, but 2 hormones to curb hunger and nausea. Weight loss faster, confidence higher, price cheaper. See if you qualify at ro.co/TV.
Hey everyone. So this is my intro, and as you can see, if you're watching, my puppy's over there in the corner. But I wanted to start this out by letting you know that this week's episode is a part 1. On the first segment, we're going to listen to 2 different things. One, we're going to listen to Jamie from our community talk about how he's moved from over 700 pounds by losing over 170 pounds on GLP-1s and how he got where he is. And then we're also going to talk to Dr. Catherine Toomer, who will discuss GLP-1s, type 2 diabetes, obesity, compound pharmacy, all the things. It ended up being a pretty long episode, so we broke it into 2 parts for you, so it's a little more digestible. I hope that you enjoy it, and make sure to listen to part 2 next week. Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome to the scrappiest podcast in the land. This is the Plus Sides, and we are all here to talk about obesity education and advocacy. We have 2 special guests with us today. One of them is a guest from our community, and I'll introduce him in just a few minutes. And then we also have another one from our community, someone who actually has taken GLP-1s and is a doctor and prescribes these medications. So we'll be talking a lot about that today. Today's episode is Foodie or food noise. We talk about food noise a lot when it comes to obesity in our community. And a lot of us, we love food and enjoy food, but how do we tie emotion to food? And how does that come into play with obesity and GLP-1s? So we're going to talk about that today.
This
Oh.
podcast was born out of the TikTok community. If this is the first time you're listening, we are actually all struggling in some form with obesity, and so Janine who has type 2, and we are taking medications that are GLP-1s and GPIs to be able to treat this metabolic disorder. And we met there. Now, Kat and I were friends first. Janine became another good friend, and we decided, you know what, let's do something where we let people know about this, because we know that the media has taken these stories and these testimonies of ours that mean so much to us because our lives have changed from this medication. And they have taken it and twisted it to further their own agenda and their own messaging and their own narrative. So we are going to ensure that we give people in our community some space, some unfiltered time to be able to take their stories back. And on top of that, we're going to back up our stories with facts, data, and science. So we'll always have some sort of specialist in some sort of area that's going to be able to let you know that we're not just running our mouths about stuff and feelings and all the things. This is true stuff, y'all. So we're very glad to have you. I'm Kim Carlos. I think I already said that. We'll see. I'm scrappy. And I actually suffer from, I would say, genetic obesity and a binge eating disorder since the age of 8. And I take Ozempic, but I started my journey on a medication called Saxenda. I've lost 60 pounds. I'm still losing. I've completely changed my life, my whole lifestyle, and all the things I've always wanted to be able to do. I am now empowered to do, and it's incredible. I've never felt so free. I've never been so free from the food noise, and the way that it's helped my anxiety and everything has just been amazing. So that's part of my testimony. If you want to hear more about my story, you can go back and listen to episode 1. Next, I'll introduce Kat because she also has someone with her.
Yeah. I was over here doing my Mounjaro butt exercises. I don't know.
I hear
And
you
the
don't
other
want
one-
Mounjaro butt.
First of all, Mounjaro butt is not a thing. I should have said that. Follow me at Kat Carter 7 on TikTok, and you'll see my tutorial. But people say they call it Mounjaro butt, which is a thing. So when you lose weight, you lose your butt. No. If you don't have muscle under the cushion, you'll lose your butt.
I don't.
So we squat. We do leg lifts.
There you go. Mounjaro butt.
Okay. We squat and we do leg lifts. All right. Don't get Mounjaro butt. Let's do squats.
Okay.
Anyway, Kat Carter 7 on TikTok. I am your Mounjaro butt prevention specialist. I like to work out. I always have, but I feel like I finally can kind of sort of look like I exercise, which actually, if you really knew me, and I kind of still did anyway, because I just had a lot of fluff. But anyway, I suffered from binge eating disorder, probably some genetic obesity as well. I've tried everything. The unhealthy things like exercise purging and binging and regular purging in high school, phentermine, which didn't really work. Mounjaro just said, I can take it or leave it. That's what Mounjaro did. So I lost 60 pounds so far. And it's been
so far.
So far.
And who is that creature behind you?
Oh, yes. This is my AT alien.
AT alien.
Because we're in the A.
That's right.
And we go Janine, the A-town.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
There you go.
Yep. A-town.
AT aliens. So depending, if you're of a certain age, because I think it's probably Gen X, maybe millennials know the Outcast song.
Yeah.
They think they do.
You don't have a lot of health problems, I don't think, in terms of GLP-1s until your 30s. So I feel like we're probably
you're okay.
I feel like you're mid to late 30s.
Yeah.
Okay. Mid to late 30s is when it starts kicking in.
That's when it starts. Yeah, that's when you're like, wait a minute, everything has changed. I can't eat whatever I want anymore. Yeah.
That was never the thing for me. But Janine.
Yeah. Janine, welcome.
That's
Tell us about you.
Welcome. Well, hello, podcast world. I'm Janine Trott. I'm the resident one that has a lot of medical comorbidities. So I have type 2 diabetes.
Oh, no.
No,
not again.
Janine, take
it's okay. We can. Oh, she's totally frozen. It was so good. Oh,
Oh,
you're back. Do it
okay.
again. We'll cut it. Do it again.
Look,
Hey,
ta-da!
Janine.
We could just leave it as is.
Hello.
We can.
Yeah.
It's also funny.
You know, really?
Janine,
Okay.
tell us about you.
So I am Janine Trot, and I am the resident person that probably Eli Lilly was like, yeah, you have a whole bunch going on with you. So we're going to create this medication just for you.
Just so you'll make a podcast and talk all about it.
And just so I can make a podcast and just help others out. So I am a type 2 diabetic. I do have an autoimmune disease. I have Sjogren's syndrome, which mirrors lupus. And I still say I suffer with obesity, even though it was later in life. But now I'm technically in the overweight category.
Overweight.
Yeah, look, woohoo. But I'm so glad to be here. Thank you all so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Janine and Kat. I'm so happy to have you as my PICs. So I mentioned earlier, we're going to talk, or the title is Foodie or Food Noise, and we're going to talk about that a good bit today. Our special guest, if you guys follow him on TikTok, his handle is Triple Dad of TikTok because he is a father of triplets. I'm going to welcome him to now. Hey, Jamie.
Hello.
Hey,
How are you?
Jamie.
How are you?
Good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good. Oh, yeah.
Thank you for all your lives.
I know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Every-
And
Like
Jamie's
Ketchum,
so
they're great.
kind about inviting other people to his lives. One time we were all on and I was just jumped on and then
So
Rosie
kind.
O'Donnell came on.
Yeah, that was
out of
great.
nowhere.
That was so kind of you, Jamie,
That
to
was
let
so
Yeah.
Rosie
nice.
O'Donnell in.
Yes, I mean, that was utterly amazing. We were all
Amazing.
texting each other like, Rosie O'Donnell was on
So
Triple
Jamie's
Dad
fine.
Live.
You gotta get on. And you handled it like such a pro too. And we were all
Yeah,
like,
it was a great conversation. It really was.
Cool as a cucumber.
it was amazing. Like you didn't, I would have spazzed. I think y'all know me pretty well by now. I would have freaked out. But like you were like, Rosie, tell us the things. And she said all the things about obesity, type 2, like Hollywood, like taking pictures of yourself now. And it's okay because one day you'll look back. I remember when I was on Mounjaro and I lost all that weight and I was feeling so great. And that you'll be happy with your body, like all this cool stuff. Like for sure, one of the coolest things.
Yeah, without really, that's why I just let her talk because it was like,
yeah,
I saw the direction it was going. It's like, I'm not going to interrupt her.
you don't need to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, she's fantastic. It was so great. But yeah, so Jamie is quite big in our, no pun intended, Jamie. Does he know?
I know, right?
Wait, it's okay. We understand.
You're a big deal.
But yeah,
He is
in our
a big
community-
deal.
And he is a big deal. Yes. And so we would love for you to tell us your story. And I mentioned earlier, I don't want this to be filtered. I want you to just tell me your story. Tell me things that, and tell all of us, right? Things that you think that would resonate with someone, because we know there are people out there, Jamie, who are probably going to die if they don't go see their doctor. And they aren't going to go see their doctor probably because they're doctor averse, because people have told them forever it's their fault. You know, so I really hope that you can tell us. I know I've read some of your story already, but I can't wait to hear the rest. Go ahead.
Quick pause here. I've had moments on my GLP-1 journey where insurance changes or rising costs force me to look for a new provider. And honestly, that process can feel very overwhelming. But that's why the Plus Sides podcast is partnered with GLP Winner to give our subscribers a resource to help them make that decision easier. GLP Winner is a comparison platform that lets you explore telehealth providers in all 50 states, whether you're looking for brand name medications or compounded options. You can see pricing up front, read reviews, and get a clear picture of which provider might align best with your needs. Check it out today at glpwinner.com/plus sides. That's glpwinner.com/plus sides. Don't forget the Z. Let me tell you a quick story. I was telling Kat how I was regaining weight after my 100-pound loss using GLP-1 medications, and I was having snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m., and I had hot flashes, and I was worried. But Kat was like, listen, I went through this last year. It's perimenopause, and I started HRT, and she used this company called Winona. So I started going there to see if this was something that was going with me. Turns out it was, because I'm 46. And it's been amazing. It's taken a while to find the right dose, but once I did, it's just been huge. I've been sleeping. I feel more myself again, and the hot flashes are gone, which is really bad. So I will tell you, it's just been so big for me. And so I wanted to partner with them on the podcast because obviously many of our listeners are going through this same age range and definitely are having these issues. And there's just no need for you to suffer. So if you go to the link that's in our link tree, you can click on that and save money. If you go there and you meet all the criteria, and this might be something for you to try. So I just want to make sure you had this great resource because it's just been such a big difference for me and Kat. Again, you can go to the link in our link tree and get what you need.
20 seconds a week to lose 20% of your weight in a year with diet and exercise. That's the power of GLP-1s through Ro. Ro helps find the medication that's right for you, based on cost, availability, and your weight loss goals. Losing weight with GLP-1s is possible through Ro.
Okay. Let me start. I'm going to tell you based on my story from my max weight of 715 pounds. A quick recap. I'm currently a dad of triplets. I have 9-year-old triplets. I have a 17-year-old son. I'm a chef by trade and currently a stay-at-home dad of my triplets. I was been heavy my whole life. I started when I was a senior in high school. I was close to 300 pounds, but I was active. At almost 300 pounds, I could run 5 miles, very active. A year after, a little like 6 months after high school, I went to culinary school for 2 years. I have a degree from the Culinary Institute of America in Hyde Park, New York. When I graduated culinary school, I was probably about 330 pounds. Came back from culinary school, started working in the business. I worked as a chef on South Beach. I worked for Wolfgang Puck. I've done a lot of great things culinary-wise, and continued over that time to continually become more and more obese. And I didn't become obese just sitting on the couch eating. I was working 70, 80, 90, 100 hours a week in very stressful, very physical jobs, and shouldn't have been continually putting on the weight that I was. So 10 years, a few years go by, I got married to my first wife. I was probably 450 pounds. I was married for almost 10 years. We have a son, and I had gotten probably gained 50, 60 pounds over that time. Got close to 500 pounds that time. 500, 520, 530. What's that? Yeah, still, yeah. At 550 pounds, I was still working 80 hours a week, physically doing a chef job. And I was, as a chef, if anybody knows, you don't sit around and eat all day as a chef. You're just, it's not what happens. So I know a lot about food. I know a tremendous amount of nutrition. I know how to eat. I attribute a lot of my weight gain to the cortisol levels of stress. I went through a divorce after almost 10 years. The stress of that at that point, that was when I turned it around, and that was the only time I've been able to lose a significant amount of weight in my life. Was after I got divorced. I lost about 115 pounds, which took me about 7 months or so to do, and it was such a challenge every single day. It was just a battle to do it, and I was able to do it. And then that weight started to creep back up. I met my current wife. I was probably 440 pounds, 450 pounds when we met. Still working on and off, working so many hours as a chef. Through the first year of our relationship, year and a half of a relationship, I had probably put on 100 pounds. I was at 550 pounds. We had triplets, and I was probably 500 and around 500 and change when we had triplets. It's still working 70, 80 hours. Between the insulin resistance, the stress of my job, the stress of having 2-pound babies in the NICU for 30 and 40 days, all that make it possible to maintain your weight, let alone lose the weight. Fast forward, they're now 10 years old. Now 8, 9 years old. Now I go from 550 to 650, getting close to 700 pounds now. Having tried various, diets, I've done keto, I've done vegetarian, I've done vegan, I've done all kinds of stuff in between. And nothing worked. Nothing I was able to been able to maintain anything. A year ago, my ex-wife, the mother of my child, she passed away. She was obese. She passed away of a massive heart attack at 50 years old. That wasn't like a wake-up call for me or anything. I had a wake-up call way before, not because of that, but that was just another things like, in the back of your mind, like, my son doesn't have a mom anymore. In the back of mind, I don't want him not to have a dad, also, my 3 little girls, and that's all that stuff. And no matter how much you want to do it, if obesity is a disease, if you don't have the tools to help fight it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much you want it. It doesn't matter. You can't will yourself to lose weight. And that's where, learning really how obesity is a disease is a big part of it. So I get to 715 pounds and I'm like, I want to start doing keto again. This time I failed multiple times on keto. 750 pounds, like, oh my God. So I finally figured out, let me start doing keto how I've done before, except this time I'm going to stop eating all sugar substitutes, all sweeteners. So I start to lose weight, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds. And then I start seeing about, my wife tells me about Mounjaro. So I'm like, I wonder if I can, because my biggest goal was to rid myself of the addiction of sugar and carbohydrates. So that's still the one thing I'm most proud of right now, is that 299 days now sober from my addiction to sugar and carbohydrates.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And I talk about it. I don't preach on my lives about it, but it comes up so many times. And I have lots of people in my lives now. Hey, I stopped. I only eat one protein shake now, and now I'm eating less sugar substitutes, and I've noticed my stalls have gone away and certain things. So I'm helping by just sharing my story.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not encouraging anybody to eat any kind of way or not eat this or not eat that. But I'm telling you what's worked for me. So I'm on my strict keto now. I'm doing pretty good. I feel better than I ever have because of the lack of fake sugars. And then my wife's like, I'm like, can I take this Mounjaro? We're looking at TikToks now and all kinds of stuff. And like, I'm trying to do research. Can I do Mounjaro with keto? Because I don't want to start eating sugar again. So I'm like, so I find enough information, not a lot. And I talked to my doctor, and an hour later, my prescription's in and she starts me on 5 milligram Mounjaro.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So I start on 5 milligram Mounjaro, and I lose 18 pounds on the first month.
Oh my God!
Of Mounjaro. So during that time, then we went to fill my prescription, and the second month, and it's not covered by your insurance. It's like, okay. So now I'm like, okay, well, I can't stop. It's like, this is like the best thing ever. It's like, it's working for me. I'm like, I feel like in control. So then I was like, okay, well, let's look at this on Ozempic. So then I started to do a little more research on Ozempic, and I found more connection with keto and and intermittent fasting a little bit and Ozempic. So I'm like, oh, okay, this sounds even better. There's not a whole lot of information, but I think, you know what? I think I can do as good or better on Ozempic. So I start Ozempic. I start on 1 milligram Ozempic, which is higher than everybody starts.
Yeah.
So I start on a higher dose of Mounjaro. And there was a learning curve with Mounjaro because I had diarrhea and stomach issues with them because I was still trying to eat like I was eating before. I wasn't eating anything different. I was eating my high-fat keto diet, but I was way trying to eat too much volume and wasn't listening to my body.
Yeah.
So I started Ozempic, and I didn't really notice anything different in the medications. But my first month of Ozempic, I lose 24 pounds.
Wow.
Okay, so now I'm down 24 from the Mounjaro. I'm down 18 pounds on Ozempic and from Mounjaro, and then I'm also down like 30 pounds from the month before of just the inflammation and starting the keto.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, I'm down almost 60 pounds in 3 months, and I'm starting to learn how to eat on the medication. I'm starting to realize that I'm eating a lot less volume of food, and it's something that I've never been able to do on just keto alone before. So all of a sudden now I'm taking the Ozempic. I'm feeling pretty good. My inflammation is going down, and I'm losing, 5 pounds this week, 4 pounds this week, 8 pounds this week, and then I'm just like, okay. So I continue on my keto ways. I'm so into not eating sugar and the sugar substitutes, and I start to realize that this Ozempic is not only making me so I don't want to overeat, it's making me have such an easy time of not craving the sugar and the sugar substitutes that it plagued me my entire life.
Right.
So I'm like, so then I start talking about it to everybody. I'm like, you know what, this Ozempic is not a magic bullet, but it sure is an amazing tool.
Yeah.
It's good as a tool. Absolutely.
So now, so I start posting. First, it took me a few months before I admitted anybody what my starting weight was. So I was letting people know that I was, 40, 50, 60, 70 pounds down until I decided I was comfortable enough to share, hey, you know what? I started at 715 pounds and that wasn't easy. Yeah. I've come to terms with it now. Now I'm 10 months in, and, I get strength from sharing that story. And I've been cooking as a chef. I cook meals for my kids and my wife that have carbs in them. I cook stuff that's keto for myself. I have no desire to eat anything that I don't want to eat, which is revolutionary for the first time in my life, which is amazing. And then I start sharing my cooking. Somebody on TikTok says, well, why don't you, you're a chef, why don't you have any, videos of your cooking? So I'm like, okay. So actually that was Sabrina on TikTok, and she's like, why don't you share videos? So I was like, okay. So I started making little videos. I don't do recipes as much because I just cook what I cook. So I share the ingredients and what I'm making, and people start to enjoy the seeing what I'm making, even though they could adapt it to eating more carbs or anything. But I like to share and say, hey, look what I'm eating. Where would you add the sugar? Where would you add the carbohydrates to this dish? And that's what I focus on. I say,
that's cool.
I'm not depriving myself. I'm living how I want to live. I'm eating how I'm eating. I'm enjoying it. And I feel like I'm gaining so much more by not eating the sugar and the carbohydrates than I am losing anything.
Yeah.
So that all being said, now this will be my 43rd week starting this coming week, and I'm now down 169 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Woo!
Amy,
So
congratulations.
thank you. So I'm down 169 pounds, and unlike being down 120, 130 pounds before, I don't feel like there's an end to this for me. Where before you're always fighting, like, I'll just go get some Taco Bell, or I'll just drive through and get this, and it's no longer, we talk about the food noise. It's I don't believe I have a food noise issue as much because of the keto way that I eat, the satiety that I get from the fat, but it's definitely has still been there when I've done keto, and now it just doesn't exist anymore. And the combination for me of the keto and the Ozempic is like a perfect storm. I have no cravings. I'm not hungry. I can still physically eat, but I listen to my body, and that's what I preach every day when I'm talking to people. It's just like, look, you have to put some thought into it. You have to put some work into it. And it kind of bothers me because people like to say, well, what did you do this, or how did you do this? And I'm like, it doesn't really matter what I do, because even if you were weighed the exact same as me and we're the same age and everything else, your body is going to react differently to the medicines, to the food you eat, to everything. So totally. I'm always just telling people just to pay attention to what you're eating. The people say, I'm losing weight. I drink these, 2 protein shakes a day, all this stuff. And all of a sudden, they haven't changed anything. And then they're on the stall for 3 weeks. Said, you know what? Yeah. But, look at the stuff I just like to, I'm very big on the ingredients. So somebody says, oh, I use this no calorie stevia sweetener. I said, okay, go grab your box of stevia and tell me what the first ingredient is. Oh, it's dextrose. Oh, what's the second ingredient? Oh, maltodextrin. Oh, and then it says stevia. I said, okay, so go Google what dextrose and maltodextrin do to you. Oh, it's more addictive than cocaine. Oh, it raises your blood sugar. It raises your insulin level. Oh, wow. Yeah, but it's a 0-calorie sweetener. So yeah, you're in your calorie deficit, but your blood sugar and your insulin levels are spiking beyond control every time you're using these products. And then I go to say, hey, you know what? But it might, it's not the case for everybody, because everybody doesn't have the same effects with those things. Yeah. And this is the type of things that I learned along the way to figure out, hey, you know what? Artificial sweeteners are just as bad or worse for me than the sugar. Yeah. So that's how I got there. So now I'm taking 2.4 milligrams of Ozempic under the guidance of my doctor, because 2.4 is the dose for Wegovy. And I've talked to doctors a lot now, and sometimes I get the answer I don't want to hear. But my question to the doctor is, can I lose all the weight? Can I lose 400 pounds on a GLP medication? Yeah. And the answer now that I've gotten from my endocrinologist and my doctor is like, I don't see why not. Yeah.
Might as well try.
Yeah. My recent trip to my endocrinologist, I asked that question, and he's like, the only issue that you're going to have down the road is that as you get, down to, let's say, like 300 pounds, you're going to have to be able to continue to eat in enough a calorie deficit to continue to lose weight. Yeah. But I said, I feel I have so much control over my hunger or my lack of hunger that I don't anticipate that being a problem, that I'm kind of forcing myself to eat a little bit more than I need to eat right now. He said, okay, well then stop forcing yourself to eat, as well. So I've kind of dialed back some stuff, because I did have a month-long stall. Yeah. But the more when you talk to doctors, I have 2 doctors on my side. So I have my primary care, which was really great to prescribe it. Now I was okay enough to go back to my endocrinologist after not seeing him for a few years, and he had no idea I was on the medication. And he was the first one to say, "Oh, have you heard about the new triple agonist that's going to come out and all this stuff?" I'm like, "Okay, great, you're talking about this, because I need a place to go when I finally do stop losing weight on Ozempic or Mounjaro." So that was really, really exciting. And since that visit, I've started. I have a low testosterone due to a pituitary issue and obesity. So I'm now taking testosterone shots, which I did the research to make sure that that wasn't going to hurt my weight loss. And by all accounts, it should help. And I had a 5.5 pound weight loss 41 weeks in last week after starting testosterone. So I'm pretty sure it didn't hurt me. So
I wonder if it'll help you.
Yeah.
It might. Yeah.
Yes. So the GLP medications have not only helped me lose the weight, they've helped me start to fix other issues in my health as well. My circulation, my lymphedema, my fasting. You know, I'm not diabetic, but I was as close to diabetic as you really could be without being diabetic. And my A1C, it was like 5.6 or something last time I was taken. My fasting glucose, I haven't taken it in weeks now because I took it for a few days and it was like 75 or 77 in the morning. So I'm like, there's nothing to worry about there. And it's just really become something that's makes this. So I really feel like I'm gonna do this. Like there's nothing that's stopping me. And to figure out what can help you from a mental and a physical standpoint is life changing, and that's all I can say. And it's really life changing. And being that I have a doctor that's on board and an endocrinologist on board, when I start to stall again with the Ozempic, I have a plan. I have a plan that I didn't even know I could do. I can, I guess you could, I didn't know that you can supplement Ozempic with Rybelsus in order to make up for the extra dosage that you don't get because you don't have wegovy. So I have a plan to use, my doctor has a plan to use Ozempic with Rybelsus as a thing to break the stall and help me continue to lose weight before then obviously switching to Mounjaro back again, since I was only on that for a month. So, so I have a plan moving forward. And then by the time I get to the point where that I figure that I won't lose weight on Mounjaro, then there'll be a new medication for me to go after. So I'm just writing the rules at this point.
Yeah, I think that's super cool. I mean, one thing I thought that was really neat that you mentioned is, you were like, I don't see where this would stop. Right. Because like forever, like especially with diet culture, like it's so easy to be like, oh, just like you said, like drive through Taco Bell or, oh, I've hit my goal weight. Now what? And then, in a couple months, you've gained another 5 pounds back. Like, so I think that the sort of difference is, and I'm curious your thoughts on this, is that this is a lifestyle change. Like this is the things we wanted to be able to do, but now we're like empowered, we have the tool to do it. It's just it was so difficult to fight that obesity, and it still is, but on the medication, and I've been on many of your lives, I feel like that it really just gives you so much control. I think that's like the perfect word is like, no one's in charge of you anymore, but you,
Exactly. And, I feel like a lot of people ask me, well, what about surgery? Why didn't you have surgery? Well, as far as I know, no, there's no mortality rate on these medications. And the people, the gastric bypass, the RNY, all that stuff, people are gaining the weight back. Now, I would be more comfortable now if I had surgery, knowing that I could take a GLP medicine to help maintain that or get me over that hump. But my biggest concern as being a chef of having weight loss surgeries, what if I can never eat like even a small composed steak dinner anymore? What if I, and that on my mind as a chef and somebody who loves food, I could never get past that. I was like, I could not mentally get past the fact that, I could never do that. And I'm fine being in control and saying, hey, you know what? I'm okay if I never have a scoop of ice cream again.
Yeah.
Because I think that my addiction to sugar and carbohydrates is just the same as an alcoholic or
Yeah.
a drug addict, you wouldn't tell a heroin addict that, you know what, you can have one, you could shoot up one time a week and you'll be okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when people tell me, well, you could just have a little bit, you'll be okay. Well, no, I can't have a little bit of sugar.
Yeah.
I've proven over my entire life that causes me to eat more and want more and binge more and everything. So stop telling me, you don't tell the alcoholic that, you know what, as long as you have one beer a week, have one beer this week, even though you haven't had a drink in 5 years, you'll be okay. People don't say that because it's not true. So it's not true for me either. And and that's just the truth of it.
I think that's really interesting though, Jamie, because like what I think is, I heard you say too, is like when you were talking to people about like, the fake sugars, if you will, versus the real sugars and like what it does to brains. And if you look it up, and then you were like, well, actually I kind of learned through that might be true for me, but it's not true for somebody else. And that's what diet culture, again, is done to us constantly, right? It's like, you fit in this box, you eat less, you move more. I don't care what your body is like or what's going on. That's
how
it works
for you, weight. Right?
And if you can't lose weight that way, then you are fat and lazy. Like, I mean, that just rings through like my whole life, But I think it's just like you said, like I think we've all sort of learned that, right? Especially within our community, is that like someone will ask me on a live, like, what do I do with this? And I'll go, I know you don't like this answer, but it just depends on you, and you will know until you try,
Right?
Because it's like everybody's so different. But I can totally relate to the sugar thing. Like it is. It's definitely addictive.
And I educate myself on it constantly. And I say, go, just look at the ingredients. It's like, and the biggest problem with the sugars that I tell people is the thing with the sugar substitutes. It's like, you think you're eating one thing, you get monk fruit. Okay. Well, there's monk fruit that the first ingredient is erythritol. There's monk fruit that the only ingredient is monk fruit. And there's monk fruit where the first ingredient is maltose or multidextrin. And everybody's body reacts differently to those things. And the fact that it has no sugar, has no calories, means nothing to me. And for me, the biggest thing that I do, which, and I've tried and failed many times at the not eating sugar and the keto thing, but I don't eat if it doesn't have something I want to eat in it, in the ingredients, I don't eat it. So I don't care. I don't care if it says 0 carbs on the nutrition label. If it has a starch in it, or it has a sugar in it or something, regardless of what the semantics are of how much is in there, because at the end of the day, if I have multiple portions of it and I have it in a couple different things, then you know what? Then I'm eating it, and it's gonna affect me. So you have to be honest with yourself, and you also have to say, hey, you know what? So and so may be able to lose 5 pounds a week on Ozempic, drinking 2 Fairlife shakes a day, but you know what? That might not be for me.
Yeah, totally.
And it's no different than any other diet or any other way of eating. You have to, and I also stress that if you're starting to exercise, then you need to do an exercise plan that's going to be sustainable for you, because if you do any research, and a lot of people still don't know that cardiovascular exercise will inherently make you healthier, and you can prevent obesity with cardiovascular exercise and diet, but you cannot cure obesity with it.
Yeah.
So all you're doing is, if you're over exercising, all you're doing a lot of times is giving yourself more calories to eat because you think you've earned it, you've burnt it, and then you move on. And that's just not how the body works. And that's not how the body works. So when I talk, because I talk a lot of lives, and I don't talk about stuff that I don't know. Like I don't, I'm not a medical person. I just know what I know from what I've done and what's worked for me and what I've seen firsthand in other people. And if you're one of those persons that's going to go hard, at the gym and going to bust yourself to do it, and you're not going to be able to maintain that, then you better not be eating like you're working out 7 days a week when you're not working out 7 days a week, because it doesn't matter what kind of medication you're on, it's not going to work.
Yeah. A lot goes into it. That's for sure.
Yeah. So for me, you know, the medication is working good. I have mobility issues. I have lymphedema. I have bronchial edema. I have lots of other medical issues. So my form of exercise is swimming, and it helps me with a lot with my range of motion, and it gets me moving. And hopefully, with my testosterone, I'll be able to build some muscles doing every little thing that I do, and will help me, you know, burn more fat and stuff in the future. And that's it. But knowing that I don't have to walk 3 miles a day, I don't have to go biking. You know what? I don't have to do anything. I have to eat what I'm supposed to eat. I need to take the medication. I have to drink water, and that's it. It works for me. And I try to share that. Just figure out how you want to eat and make it fit into the whatever you want to do. But if you enjoy eating, drinking a diet soda every day, then drink a diet soda every day. If you enjoy, if you want a cookie every day, then eat a cookie every day. But you know, don't make excuses for what you want to do. Just do it and fit it in, and that's great for you. And don't tell anybody else they shouldn't have a cookie or they shouldn't have a diet soda, because that's not my that's not my thing.
Totally.
That's the key.
A lot of people wouldn't sit down and eat a half a pound of bacon in a sitting, like I still will. You know, and of course, but it's what works for me, and I figured it out, and that's it. So I do me, you do you, and we can figure it out together.
We'll get along.
Yeah, totally. Awesome.
I was
thank you so much.
That we'll get along.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, come
Exactly.
on. Like, we can all be bacon buddies.
Basically, he said, mind your business.
Well, it's just, you know, and
It's true, though, yeah.
And
People let them be.
Awesome.
and there's a lot of support. There's
ahead,
a lot of
Jimmy.
support on TikTok, and it's great, and it's been a great community, and I'm thankful for being able to share my journey, because I get so much out of sharing it as I do with what I hear and what I learn. But it's just like, I encourage every day. It's just like, you know what, just you have to figure it out. Like, you have to put the work in to figure it out, because you might be losing 2 pounds a week. You know what? But if you really thought about what you did, you know what, maybe you lose 2.5 pounds a week. And because it wouldn't be a big change for you. But if you don't listen to your body and you don't pay attention to what you're doing, you'll never know.
Yeah, like, it's far from the easy way out, which we'll talk about more, because we've got Dr. Toomer's coming on too. Oh, by the way, Dr. Catherine Toomer is coming on, and Jamie, we would love for you to hang with us so we can ask some questions and mix it up. Sound good?
Yes,
Sure.
absolutely.
All right.
Speaking
Let
of
me know if
doctors
you
that
gotta
are on
go,
your
but
side,
I want you to
right?
say
Number.
Okay. Dr. Toomer.
Hello.
Hi,
Welcome
Dr.
to the Great Side.
I'm sorry if I sound a little I went to a music festival yesterday, so I was kind of screaming at Hosier for hours.
Oh,
My voice is gone.
That's so fantastic.
That's fantastic. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yes. So
Well, she's already
we know
telling
a
the
lot
truth.
about you, right?
Mhm.
Like, we know a lot because we're on TikTok, and we know one of your favorite things to say is, "This is Dr. Catherine Toomer telling the truth." So we're
I
really
need to go
happy
back
have
to
you
that. I
here.
actually dropped it for a second, and I think I should
No.
go back to it because it seems to
Must
resonate
keep
with
it.
people.
Yes, it does, because
Yes.
we're sick of hearing lies. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and,
So am I.
Yeah.
and like, Jamie keeps it real too. So I just feel like it was a good pairing, you
Mhm.
know.
I heard a
So,
lot of good
like,
information, actually. Yeah. Like I said,
Cool.
all I heard was truth. So
yeah, I saw you
Oh,
being like,
awesome.
Yeah, I was like, yeah,
mhm.
a lot of
Yeah.
truth in there, and a lot of good information. I think that you know, I'm at the other end of my journey, and so it's easy to forget sometimes. That, you know, just listening to you talk, Jamie, just reminded me of a lot of things that I've struggled through and I've forgotten it. That's the beauty of it. You get to a certain point where you just sort of forget. And I had one of my doctors tell me once, you know, you're well when you forget you have the diagnosis.
Mm.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And
Wow.
almost, it's like listening to you, I was like, whoa, maybe I'm fine. Because I forgot. There's a lot of stuff I've forgotten, you know. But anyway,
that's awesome.
don't get me started. I'll just.
I'm gonna get you started. That's why I need you here.
Oh, yeah.
But tell us a little bit about you,
Okay.
what you do, a little bit of, we've got lots of TikToks, but obviously there are plenty of people that are not on TikTok that are listening to this podcast that have found us on YouTube and all of the other audio podcasts. So tell us a little bit about you, what you do and where your work is, stuff like that.
All right. Well, my name is Dr. Catherine Toomer. I'm a family medicine and community health physician, and I founded health, wellness, and weight loss centers essentially to become the doctor I needed when I was morbidly obese. I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Actually, I was diagnosed before then with type 2 diabetes. And then a month after my daughter was born, I went into congestive heart failure. That was misdiagnosed as something else, mainly because I was tired. I was having difficulty breathing. Every time I moved around, I was short of breath. And I kept being told it was because of my weight. So I went undiagnosed much longer than I should have, even though as a physician, I knew something was wrong. I knew it was something more. But the other thing that happens with doctors, and one of the reasons why we don't treat our family members, is that we wish away pathology. And so I kept I rationalized, I kept convincing myself, well, yeah, maybe that's what it is. I'm still anemic from pregnancy. Oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, whatever. And so I just went along with the misdiagnosis and then almost died.
Wow.
I was told at the time I had a 50% chance of living 5 years. I had a 2.5-year-old and a newborn. And I thought, this is it. I'm not going to see them grow up. They're going to grow up without a mother. And there's nothing I can do about it. Because the only thing that, if I got much worse, the only thing that would have saved me was a heart transplant. They had already told me that because of my weight, I would not be eligible. And so I thought, if my heart worsens, I can't get a transplant. If I don't, so the only thing I could do was focus on my diabetes. That's the only thing I could change. And I knew enough to know that if I focused on my diabetes, that I could lose the weight. And so that's what I did. That's what I wanted to do. But I just couldn't get myself to do anything but just lay in bed and cry, essentially, because I had postpartum depression on top of chronic depression and cardiac depression, which is something that happens. And every time you have a cardiac diagnosis, the sense of doom is very common. In fact, when someone comes in as a patient and says, I just feel like the world's coming to an end, I immediately check their heart because that's just a common connection. And then I realized I was just really depressed. I actually had a doctor tell me, well, of course you're depressed. You're overweight. You're a doctor and you know better.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Did you punch him? I
went back to my car and cried. I cried a lot after doctor's appointments then. I actually have cried a lot after doctor's appointments since then. But so what I did is I just essentially put myself on an antidepressant. I used an antidepressant that I often use with patients. It so happens this was 22, 23 years ago, before we knew that bupropion was a good medication to use for weight loss.
Yeah.
Because it does stop that compulsive eating that happens with emotion. And so I had put myself on Wellbutrin, immediately noticed a difference. Suddenly my motivation was there and started working really hard to get my health together. At the time, I couldn't really cook. I couldn't wash myself. I couldn't take care of my children. So my husband was doing everything. And he was so strict. I mean, he cut salt out of everything. He was, but he cut back on carbohydrates, but he was so concerned about my heart. That's what he was focusing on. And so he was focusing on salt and I was focusing on carbohydrates, which I learned very quickly. I have absolutely no willpower and discipline around food. I mean, just none.
Yeah.
And so he made sure nothing came into the house, but I still had a child to feed. We still had, family around. My mother-in-law lived a couple miles away. And so, I was still being exposed to the food that was my drug. And so, but I realized that if I focused on what I couldn't eat, I wanted it more. So I started focusing on the things that I could eat, and that was protein. So I just focused on protein. I was like, I don't care what else I eat. I'm just going to make sure I get enough protein. Immediately, my blood sugar started to correct. Immediately, I started losing weight. Immediately, I started being less tired. I was still short of breath. My heart was still doing what it was doing, but I could tell the difference. I mean, just within 24 hours. And I knew this as a doctor, as a primary care physician. I knew you can turn blood sugars around in 24 hours. One meal.
Yeah.
All it takes is one meal to prevent your diabetes.
Wow.
It doesn't prevent your body's reaction to carbohydrates, but you can get your blood sugars under control with one meal. And I knew this.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. Still ate my carbs, still ate my sweets. I just I can't do this. I can't. I'm like, look, I may not live in 5 years. I'm not giving up my chocolate. I'm not giving, it's like, I still got to enjoy my life. If these are the last 5 years I'm going to have, and so I balance, but I found the balance. But one of the things I found though, the more protein I ate, the less I craved the sweets.
Yeah.
When my blood sugars were controlled, the less I could. And intellectually, I knew all this as a physician who studied endocrinology, as a physician who treated diabetes, I knew all this. I actually had helped my father reverse his diabetes already at that point.
Yeah.
So I knew how to do it. I just had a hard time doing it for myself. But one of the things that I did during that time, I documented everything I did. Everything. Cool. What my blood sugars were, how I was gaming the system. If I eat this much cake and this much protein, what happens to my blood sugars? I mean, I was really working on, I was really gaming it. So I
Kat
learned,
is a baker. I know she can relate.
So I was like, okay, so if I eat this much protein and don't have protein in my meal, I can make my potato, instead of eating potatoes, I can have dessert after. But I can only have this much dessert if I eat this much protein. I mean, really, I was really working it, and writing it all down, and realized that I had created a program for myself. I over time I didn't have to write it down anymore. I just knew instinctively. Okay, if you eat this, you can have this. But but sometimes I didn't want it. But if I knew I was going to want it, then I would just adjust beforehand. There were certain things I just knew I could not be around no matter what, like Oreos. I just can't eat till this day. I just know, do not put them near me. The biggest blessing I ever discovered was when Oreos started making the 2 Oreo packets.
Oh yeah.
Because I could only have 2.
Yeah.
And I couldn't eat the whole bag. It's like that, that was amazing. To me, that was a day to celebrate.
Yeah, totally.
Honestly,
I'm an Oreo girl too.
Yeah, and so so my biggest hurdle is making sure I only get one. So I buy it at the gas station, but I get only one. If I make sure that I don't get more than one, and that's where the battle comes in. Don't get more than one, Catherine. Just only get one, and then walk out. And then I'll grab a Fairlife Core with 42 grams of protein. Drink it first, eat my Oreos.
That's like a
and I'm like, good, because I know that protein's going to counter the sugar in the Oreos, and it's not going to cause me a problem. Because I know I can do that. And essentially, I know it sounds really bad, but essentially that's what my program became. But that's what my program is now, is helping people live their life how they want to live it without it causing them a problem. So essentially, I just spend all of my time telling people, what is your carb of choice? Yeah. And when they tell me their carb of choice, I'm like, okay, so this is how you do it. Yeah. You're eating 2 cups of rice. You love your rice. Fine. Let's cut it down to half a cup and add a whole bunch of protein with it. Yeah. And then you'll find that you don't need that 2 cups anymore. Yeah. And then, check your blood sugars, check your thing. I check insulin levels in everyone I work with. Yeah. Because I can tell you, I mean, even just today, I had someone with a hemoglobin A1C of 5.3. Checked her insulin level, it was 10 times normal. And she couldn't figure out, you're not diabetic, you're not this. But people don't realize from insulin resistance to diabetes is like a 10 years of weight gain. Yeah. 10 years of battling your body's reaction to blood sugars, to carbohydrates. and nobody it's just now that that people are starting to check insulin levels, and they're still checking fasting insulin levels.
Yeah.
We don't have a problem when we're fasting.
Yeah.
Right.
It happens when we've eaten. So why are you checking a fasting blood sugar and checking a fasting insulin level? Of course, I checked someone. She was like, but my insulin levels are normal. Yeah, well, so are your blood sugar. So I can tell you didn't eat before, like I told you to, before you got your lab. She was like, how did you know that? I was like, because your blood sugar is 80, but your history tells me you're having a problem with carbohydrates.
Yeah.
Redid the test. And because we used to do glucose tolerance tests, nobody orders those anymore. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was like, just get a Welch's grape juice, which has the same amount of sugar in it as a glucose tolerance test, as a glucola, which is just nasty tasting.
Yes.
So just do that. Drink it right before. Tell them it's non-fasting. Tell them I said I wanted it non-fasting, and I put on there non-fasting, and they still tell people come back when you've been fasting. I don't know why, but anyway. So she did that like I asked her, and her blood sugar was 150. Which is which when I trained, that was in and of itself a diagnosis of diabetes.
Yeah.
So her blood sugar was 150 because it was over 140 just as a spot blood sugar. And then her insulin level so normal is 14, high is 14. Hers was 200 and something.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
But her hemoglobin A1C is normal. And she I don't know why everyone keeps telling me to stop eating and telling me to exercise. I go to the gym 4 times a week. I do this, I do that. I'm doing whatever. I don't understand. Why am I?
Yeah.
It's like, because you smell a carb and your body's ready to get. No, but that's actually, that's true. When people say I gained weight from smelling bread, it is absolutely true. It's your brain getting ready for its drug, and it just pushes out insulin, just getting ready.
Wow.
And that means as soon as you eat, your body takes everything you've eaten and shifts it to fat instead of fuel, because that insulin's already there waiting for it. And so that's what was happening. And so put her on a GLP-1. Guess what happened? Her weight dropped, but guess what she was told? You're cheating. So basically, to make a long story short, I was obese, became the doctor I wanted to become, created my program, and now I fight with people because I'm trying to counter all the brainwashing that has happened over the years, not only in other physicians, but also in ourselves. I had the same mind drama that everybody else had. This isn't real. This is going to come back. As soon as I sniff this or do that or whatever, everyone's out to get me. And, oh my gosh, I've gained 5 pounds. That's it. It's over. That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And so my immediate weight loss was 60 pounds just from eating protein.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Because I was such an out of control diabetic, essentially. So the more out of control you are, the easier it is to get. When you do get control, your weight drops even faster.
Yeah.
So I did that. Still had, my heart was still in failure. I maintained that weight loss up and down, fluctuate here and there for years and years and years and years and years. And then GLP-1s came out in 2005. Now, people keep acting like these are new medications. I've been prescribing it for over 10 years.
Yeah.
I was actually using it for weight loss in my patients way back, not even thinking I'd use it for myself. My diabetes was controlled at that point, so I thought. So I was like, I'm not using that. I don't need it. I've got mine under control with diet and exercise. I'm good. Then menopause hit. It was like, it's like, no, anyway. So then what happened is, but then my heart started failing. So what happened is my stress level started going up again. Once I went back into medicine, I took a 9-year break. It took me 9 years to get my health back to the point where I could practice again.
Yeah.
Worked part-time. But the stress started affecting my heart, started affecting my blood sugar, started going up. My weight started going up with it. So I went back on medication for my diabetes, not a GLP-1 receptor agonist, because that was too extreme for what I needed. So I just went on metformin. Then I went on Farxiga to protect my kidneys and my heart. And then my cardiologist was like, your heart is failing. My ejection fraction halved. And so I was put on a GLP-1 to protect my heart. Had nothing to do with my blood sugar, had nothing to do with my weight. It was simply to protect my heart, because that's what GLP-1s do.
Yeah.
Every cell in your body that is affected by blood sugar, which every cell in our body is, can be corrected by correcting your glucose dysregulation. And my glucose dysregulation related to stress was causing my heart to fail. And so I was put on it to protect myself. My weight dropped so fast that we thought something else was wrong. I had never seen anyone's weight drop that fast. So I was this it was falsely controlled. My blood sugars, my diabetes was falsely controlled. My hemoglobin A1C was 5.3, had started somewhere over the 7s. So I'm like, I'm good. But as soon as but I never checked my insulin levels. I never, in hindsight, I knew better, but I was helping everybody else, but not really helping myself.
Yeah.
And so went on to GLP-1, dropped 45 pounds within a few months.
Wow.
Got a complete GI workup because everyone's like, this has to be cancer. It's not.
Yeah.
So I was scared. So of course I couldn't enjoy the weight loss because I was too terrified, because everyone kept telling me I was sick, that I was looking sick, that I felt, and I'm a very muscular person. So so as soon as my blood sugars were controlled and my metabolism was back to normal, my muscle was like, yo, and then kicked in. So it's just like, boom. So, but then that became a secondary mind drama.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize myself anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to you know how hard it is to gain weight on a GLP-1 receptor agonist?
Yeah.
Not easy. And I was trying my best.
Yeah.
So I stopped taking it.
Oh.
I would forget my dose.
You would forget.
I would forget. Dose. So I started on Victoza, never took Saxenda. So I started on, because it was for, I was on Victoza. Then I was on Invokana, which is similar. It's not exactly the same, but I was added to that. But it helps, it's one of the other medications for diabetes that supports weight loss. But I stopped taking it because it caused the worst constipation. So I just stopped it. Went on Ozempic, and it was Ozempic that caused the significant weight loss.
Wow.
And then when Mounjaro came out, I started it simply because back in those days when it first came out, drug reps were handed out like candy. So I was giving it. I'm like, yeah, why not? I'll try it. So started my 2.5. I was like, this stuff is nice.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I got a code, got a prescription, and now I'm taking 15 milligrams. If the code goes away and I can't afford it, my insurance stops covering it, then I'll just go back to Ozempic, which it was covered, and it's good medication. If everything goes away, and we can talk about this a little bit if you want, if everything just goes away, like tomorrow, someone just said, you can't get any of the prescriptions for GLP-1 agonists, I'll move to another state, because my state now has banned compounded semaglutide.
Oh yeah, we were gonna. Yeah.
Let's definitely talk about that.
I will. I'm serious. I will buy a house in another state and say that's where I live, just so I can get. I mean, seriously, it would be worth it for my life, or even just moving. I mean, I can work from anywhere now, but I mean, it's that important.
Yeah.
It's that life-saving.
I think that's a super good segue. We've talked a lot, and that's something that I have in here.
Let me tell you a quick story. I was telling Kat how I was regaining weight after my 100-pound loss using GLP-1 medications, and I was having snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m., and I had hot flashes, and I was worried. But Kat was like, listen, I went through this last year. It's perimenopause, and I started HRT, and she used this company called Winona. So I started going there to see if this was something that was going with me. Turns out it was, because I'm 46. And it's been amazing. It's taken a while to find the right dose, but once I did, it's just been huge. I've been sleeping. I feel more myself again. And the hot flashes are gone, which is, really bad. So I will tell you, it's just been so big for me. And so I wanted to partner with them on the podcast because Obviously, many of our listeners are going through the same age range and definitely are having these issues. And there's just no need for you to suffer. So if you go to the link that's in our link tree, you can click on that and save money. If you go there and you meet all the criteria, and this might be something for you to try. So I just want to make sure you had this great resource because it's just been such a big difference for me and Kat. Again, you can go to the link in our link tree and get what you need. Today's episode is brought to you by Ro, a telehealth platform that's changing the game of GLP-1 access. What sets Ro apart? Ro understands the challenges of navigating insurance hurdles and the skyrocketing prices of GLP-1 medications. That's why they specialize in getting insurance approvals for GLP-1s. And if insurance is a barrier, they go a step further by prescribing brand name zepbound vials for prices close to those of compound GLP-1s. With Ro, you're not just getting a prescription, you're getting a partner in your journey that's helping you access affordable treatment and guiding you every step of the way. Whether it's insurance approvals or cost-effective alternatives, Ro is here to make sure that you get the medication you need. Visit ro.co/plussides with a Z today to see how they can help you take control of your weight management journey with affordable, accessible care. That's ro.co/plussides with a Z, making healthcare work for you. Check out the link in our show notes for more details.
Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.